I feel I'm in the classroom. Good afternoon, everybody. You're all very welcome. It's a great day today, first of all, because it's a Friday and it's the end of the week. Secondly, everybody's here in fully support and in solidarity for Jamie and his campaign and his bid to get the president here. So it's fantastic. And also, it's a great day because it looks like the country is back to normal and there's some normality. And I know both UCC and ourselves will have a full campus on Monday, so we're looking forward to that. So it's great to have everybody here. I'd like to call on the President of MTU, Professor Maggie Cusack, to formally welcome you.
Jared, Lord Mayor of Cork, Michael Collins TD, Councillor Canty, Senator McGeerahan, President of UCC, Superintendent O'Sullivan, co-founders and team members of Stuttering Awareness Mental Wellbeing, all guests and fellow MTU colleagues. You're all very welcome today to the signing of the Stuttering Awareness Invitation Letter to President Biden. It's hard to believe that we were here last September for the launch of the Stuttering Awareness Mental Wellbeing campaign and finished in November and had such a positive impact with really great local and national profile, positive social media support and endorsement by politicians, celebrities and ordinary people affected by stuttering and mental health. The campaign ensured the public became aware about stuttering and connected to those who stutter, who still feel alone and isolated. So I'm a big fan of the poet and writer Maya Angelou, and her work deals with challenge and adversity and really rising up against challenge. Any challenges that people put in our way and really being our true selves and celebrating being our true selves. Maya Angelou said, "We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty." I think this quote can really help us to think about the long periods of darkness, of solitude, of challenge, trial and growth that someone with stuttering faces. But there is support available and light at the end of the tunnel. President Biden, Jamie Googan, and many other role models are testament to this. So I'm only providing words of welcome, but I have to say how proud we are of Jamie and his whole team as absolutely outstanding role models and great examples of facing adversity and challenge and rising above it and being proud versions of their true selves. And importantly, simultaneously raising awarenesses of the challenges faced and the support available, and so helping many other people along the way. You should be well proud of your work, and I'd have to say your publicity campaign is second to none. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Dr. Cian O'Neill and Dr. Con Burns and the Department of Sport, Leisure and Childhood Studies and the MTU Access team for supporting Jamie throughout his academic career and continuing to support him as an MTU alumnus as he continues to make this incredible impact and help others. So finally, on behalf of the MTU community, I want to wish Jamie and his whole team our very best wishes with your invitation to President Biden. I look forward to welcoming the US President to Cork, and I can actually see the photo now when we're out there in the grass circle on MTU campus, so we all look forward to that, and we'll thank Jamie for it. Thank you all.
Thanks, Maggie. Now I'd like to call on the Lord Mayor of Cork, Councillor Colm Kelleher, to address you.
And thank you, Madam President, Professor Maggie Cusack, and good afternoon, Councillor Canty, for representing Cork City's Corporate Policy Group, PC, Strategic Policy Committee for Foreign Affairs. It's great to see you here representing Cork City Council, Senator Erin McGreen, member at the Upper House of the Oireachtas. You're very welcome, and I know you've been involved for a number of months now, and it's great to see you here. Deputy Collins, representing the Lower House House of the Oireachtas, although the House with the power, but until it's ratified by them, of course. We have to keep me in check, like. No, look, it's an absolute honour and a privilege to be here in my capacity as Lord Mayor. I'd like to welcome President of UCC as well, John O'Halloran, Superintendent Declan O'Sullivan, everyone that's involved in the Stuttering Awareness campaign, and particularly the reason why we're all here today is you, Jamie. Since I met you in the early days of my term as Lord Mayor, back along with Cian, back in the sports complex there, the sense of energy that you displayed in that day and enthusiasm, it was mind-blowing, to be quite honest with you. So, you know, I know this is a journey that's not over yet. I've no doubt that it will be successful, and I know that, and I feel that we will be successful in getting the President here to Cork. In 1963, some months before his untimely death, President John F. Kennedy was granted freedom of the city in Cork, and by my predecessor, Councillor Casey at the time. And there's a picture in the Lord Mayor's office of the presidential Buick rounding HMV, and the streets were just like awash with people and black with people. My mother was there on that day when I brought my mother into the office, and she saw the picture of Kennedy's convoy or the cavalcade going down Patrick Street. She says she can remember that as a child. So I've no doubt that the amount of people that came out to welcome President Kennedy as a free man of the city in 1963 will throng the streets of Cork again down the main thoroughfare, and probably on the way out here to the campus and to get the circle and the whole lot. I really hope it happens before June, although it probably won't. So, but no doubt I'll get a seat as a former Lord Mayor anyway. You know what I mean? I better anyway. I better tell Anne that before. Before I. Put your name in here. Thanks very much, Councillor Canty. Thank you. Maybe a parting gift, a parting shot. No, but no. Look, I've no doubt that you will be successful. But not only, you know, it's not about getting President Biden to come and visit Cork, albeit it will be great for the local economy and be great for the country. And he is a son of Ireland. He's the second son of Ireland that is held to hold the highest office in the free world, and he's the leader of the free world. And you know, particularly now, I'm an avid reader of history, and I have a fear. I see after the last pandemic, the geopolitical landscape was very volatile, and it seems to be replicating itself now. You see everything that's happening in Ukraine and stuff like that with Russia. But he is the leader of the free world, and you know, the links we've had with the United States going back from the time of emigration, from the coffin ships and the famine ships that crossed the Atlantic. And for a second Irish son to achieve the highest office in the free world is absolutely amazing. And I've no doubt that he wants to come home. I know he's from Mayo and someplace very close to Louth as well. But, you know, I'll talk to the executive. We might give another United States president the freedom of Cork City again so we can attract him down here. So we might dangle that carrot for you as well. But, well, that's for another Lord Mayor to decide, not me. But, no, look, it's great. I know the Taoiseach is involved. I know the county mayor was hoping to be here as well, but, you know, commitments. She's in Lithuania, and she sends her best. I know she has the full support of the county council as well. But you have the full support of Cork City Council. But the Taoiseach spoke on your behalf on World Stuttering Awareness Day, which was the only Prime Minister in the world to do so. So, you know, from the top down, you've had support through UCC, through CIT, or sorry, MTU. My apologies. Yeah, when the superintendent here was the RTC. That was a while ago. Yeah, we talked about that outside. It's all right. But I've no doubt that you do. There will be delegations from Ireland going to Washington for the Patrick's Day celebrations. And if you can find someone maybe to wrangle the letter with them, we might save you the price of a stamp. So the very best of luck. And again, on behalf of the people of Cork, we're behind you 100%. And thank you personally for asking me to get involved from the word go. Gurmil Mahog of Cllr.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Now I'd like to call on Jamie Googan, co-founder of Stuttering Awareness Mental Health Group, to address you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Munster Technological University on this very, very special day, and a day that is also important to me because today we signed the invitation to the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. In my eyes, I have a dream voluntary job. Not only do I have the honour of supporting individuals that were like me and giving them a pathway out of their own challenges with regarding their verbal communication, but I have the honour of tracking down the President of America. And I watch the President every single day. I track him, I know where he goes, I watch him. And
Don't tell the Secret Service.
yes. But you always hear certain things that he likes to speak about a lot. And he loves to talk about Ireland, he loves to talk about his Irish roots, his love of Irish poetry, and very, very soon he'll be speaking about his love of the rebel county. But he'll also frequently speak about the fact that he overcame a stutter. He spoke about this as President-elect. He did a town hall with Anderson Cooper, the CNN correspondent, where he spoke about confidence and public speaking and how he himself had overcome his stuttering. He spoke about this just last month. He was addressing a group of young school children in Washington. But that also combines with the President's love of Irish poetry. Because as a young man, he'd look in the mirror and he'd read the poetry of Yeats. But that was his way of improving his speech patterns, gaining confidence, retraining the muscles in his face, and eventually overcoming his stuttering. As a member of the stuttering community, and I'm a very, very proud member, we want to make a positive impact with 50,000 people who stutter. And if you want to create an impact, you go straight to the top of the spear. And sitting there is the President, Joe Biden. He is the only world leader that can create an impact with 50,000 people, touch their hearts, touch their minds, and give them hope. And that's why we're all here today, is to give people hope. And every single one of us sitting here today are stakeholders in improving mental well-being within our communities. And if we all look to the left and look to the right and look at the individuals sitting inside this room, we literally have the top brass of the university, Munster Technological University, University College Cork, An Garda Síochána, Shanadaran, House of Oireachtas, Cork City Council, keynote speakers in studying and mental well-being, award-winning educators, and to bring people all together with this one goal of bringing the President to Cork. That is no mean feat. And yes, we can do this. And the heavy lifting is being done so we can do this. Senator McGrean, Councillor Colm Kelleher, Councillor Canty, Deputy Collins. The recent figures from the HSE show across all speech and language difficulties, 50,000 children are on a waiting list to receive help. 50,000 children across all spectrum of speech and language difficulties. 16,000 children are on a waiting list to get their initial assessments. 16,000 just to get initial assessments. 9,000 children are on that list for more than 12 months. These figures are shocking, and we are here, and we have a voice to be heard, and we need to come together and bring highlight to this, not only within our councils, Cork City and Cork County Council, but also inside Shanadaran, inside the House of Oireachtas, and these needs to be addressed. And we want to work with you. We want to work with you in creating a better future for those individuals who have speech and language difficulties. Because yes, the parents are frustrated, and if you are an 8-year-old child who stutters, by the time you are 15 years old, you will have only been given 24 hours of speech and language therapy. And imagine how the parents feel with that when they call and they ask for help. And then by the time the child is 15 years old, they've had 24 hours of help. Just imagine being a parent, and the parents need support. We need to come together and not only support the children and teenagers that have speech and language difficulties, but plans need to be put in place for the parents, education program for parents, support network for parents. And our campaign has brought together the parents because now there is a WhatsApp group where parents can support parents. Parents reaching out to each other, just talking to each other. And this is what can happen. Just a small group of us. Imagine what a big group of us can do. And we came together with a small voice. But now with everybody here, not only do we have just a whisper now, we have a shout. And we need to bring that shout forward to the White House. Because the US President is the only one that can reach out to 50,000 people of his fellow citizens and the minority of the country who stutters. He's the only one. And I thank you all once again, Madam President. Thank you for making MTU its home here for the campaign Stuttering Where's Mental Wellbeing. Cian and Con, thank you for supporting me over the last 11 years. Madam President, as you know, I have graduated here 7 years, and it is wonderful to still have the support of my two mentors. Senator Erin, thank you very much for coming. You've travelled a long way. Given your position as Fianna Fáil spokesperson as including children and disability, here in MTU, not only do you have the very two best sports coaches sitting over there, but also the very best at inclusion, integration and equality. And it is important to make that connection between Shannon Aaron and the department. Because those two individuals are the key to me overcoming my challenges with stuttering. And we are all proof here today that this can be done and the President can do this in Cork. Thank you very much, everyone, and look forward to signing the document. Thank you.
I know, thank you, Jamie, and what I always love about Jamie is his passion and energy, and I saw that earlier today. We were on a call with the Irish ambassador to the UN, and she kind of Jamie put it up to the ambassador, you know, that Biden is coming. He's not taking no for an answer. So well done, Jamie. And I think it's important to note as well that Jamie does this, you know, out of his own time. He's no funding for it. You know, I know his phone bill must be, you know, you need to do a deal with Vodafone. Maybe we'll talk to Anna O'Leary about it. But certainly you're on the phone all the time to everybody. And what's important, I suppose, with the campaign is the impact that you're making already with the campaign from September, but also the future impact you'll make if we get Biden here and reaching to those 50,000 people. I might open it up to the rest of the people here if they'd like to share a story, make a comment, offer some words of support. I might go to my right, maybe, Erin, off the cuff, if you'd like to. Or...
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, and your hospitality here in MTU. It's fantastic to be here. I've never been in any institution in Cork, as we discussed earlier on, education institution. So it's fantastic to be here, and I suppose, and welcome to my beautiful colleague here, and my Raptors colleague and councillors. I met Jamie and Mike in that last year, and went over to Buzzwells very innocently and was blown away. Was absolutely blown away and was hooked. You got me on the campaign straight away there. It was personality, yes. It's quite an infectious personality of all of you, but also story. And me as an ordinary girl, I grew up. I'm from County Louth. Grew up on the side of a mountain, and things not to be expected, things you're not expected much of you. You know, you're a daughter of a farmer and you go to a tech school. You're not. Things don't think you want to go on. You want to do small things. And I was a dreamer, and I got encouragement and I got the breaks. And for me, that's my rationale in politics, and it's why I'm in politics, is to make sure that everyone gets that break and that everyone gets that chance, that opportunity, or everyone has the guts to go for it. And I suppose growing up on a border in North Louth, you know, politics, republicanism, and sometimes it was a dirty word, but for me, republicanism was equality, it was liberalism, and it was about bringing everyone with you and making sure we were all our better selves. So I suppose that's what this whole campaign for me stuck with me personally, and indeed your campaign for speech and language therapists. You know, every single day of the week I work with parents, like in your WhatsApp group, listening to them heartbroken, And I can guarantee you there is an incredible amount of work going on. I mean, we have a fantastic Minister for Disability at the minute. The largest ever budget for disability services was in the last two budgetary rounds. More and more staff are being added every single day of the week, and we're hiring constantly, and we're going to fix it. It's going to take time, but it's not just from the HSE out. It needs to be pressure, and the pressure that you put on and we put on as a community, as educators, as politicians, as parents, as people who care, that's what makes it all work. And it's a circle of positivity. And as I will allow President Biden to spend some of his time out of County Louth, as we all know that he's a very proud Louth man. His family were born in the Cooley Peninsula, just down the road from me. We will lend him for an afternoon here in Cork to make sure that he addresses the great people here in County Cork, and I'm sure the Taoiseach will make sure of that as well, that he gets into his own patch. Again, it's a really huge pleasure to be here and amongst I hope to be friends and colleagues moving on, because there's learning to be had in all our conversations. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted, and it's a great privilege. So well done, Jamie, and brilliant boss. It's always a bit of a problem coming after such a great orator there, because it's something that I'm not very comfortable with. So again, another inspiration that you give to me. So thank you very much, and brilliant boss, and best of luck.
Erin, colleagues, friends, Maggie, thank you for making us always so warm here, and your team. We've worked very closely together at University College Cork and Maggie's team, and it's a privilege, Maggie, and it's just lovely to be here in this setting, because we haven't had enough of this for the last few. And when you were mentioning I'm a zoologist, some of you will know, studies those butterflies and birds that you talked about. What struck me is that you could actually put COVID into that little larvae, when, I don't know, a butterfly comes out of this beautiful, ugly looking insect, and suddenly this beautiful things emerge. And I think some of us are feeling a little bit like that today, actually. Can I also say, as someone who's involved in education, and we all are, many of us in many ways, but people say, why do you get up in the morning? We get up in the morning because of people like you, both of you, what role models we have in our politics and in our leaders, and that's what we need. If you can't see it, you can't be it. We all know that phrase, but I think we've seen it in shed loads in the last few minutes. And thank you for it, because I'm an incredibly optimistic person, because I think when we look in this room and beyond, the courage, the innovation, and actually just speaking out is just really important. After a day that we've had, a week that we've had a pretty tough time, actually, as a community, as a society. I tweeted a photograph from UCC and Maggie and all our institutions. We all did our own little symbolism, which was important. I tweeted out a photograph of an event at UCC, and to my astonishment, a Japanese network messaged me and said, "Can we use this image on our networks on their system?" So I hope, Jimmy, that gives you the encouragement that what might seem like a small stone in a pond is creating a ripple, and a big ripple that may go as far as Japan. And don't ever underestimate that. And the power of your voice and the power of these voices in this room will go well beyond these walls, amplified by our politicians, all of you, and you're critical to that. I think we all have a role. It's not just for the politicians and the HSE. Actually, it's for all of us, that we all say this is the moment we say, whether it's supporting disability or supporting women's rights or whatever, we all have that responsibility. Erin, I have to say to you, as I mentioned to you earlier, and Lord Mayor, we have one other special trait that Cork has given to Louth, and I know this personally. Cork are the only county that gave Louth in All Ireland.
We took it.
Right.
We took it.
And I can take the privilege that my own father-in-law was the person who gave Dermot O'Brien the ball, that put the ball in the back of the net. And ever 60 and odd years later, since 1957, of course, most of you are far too young to even remember that. So we give another reason why Biden might not go to Mayo, because they haven't yet won in Ireland, but Louth have won, and Cork gave them one. But on a slightly more serious note, then, University College Cork fully supports this, together with Maggie and the team, absolutely fully supports this campaign. We will pull out the stops. I may be in Washington myself. We will be working. We work very close with some of Joe Biden's very close allies, and also with Martin Meehan. Some of you may or may not know Martin Meehan is a Democrat who ran for the President of the United States. He's the president of all University of Massachusetts system. We work very closely with him. He got an honorary degree in UCC about 3 years ago. We will be reaching out to him to make sure that he is aware of this letter that's coming in the hope that will give it an extra momentum. And some of us will have already written to the ambassador to invite the new American ambassador to Ireland as well, and hopefully together. And we'd love people from Loud. You might even bring the cup back, or you might even have another one at that stage. But I think what we do share is a share of support, a share of good spirit in this, but a share from me, a sense of awe that we have talent like this that I want to change the world, that the world needs changing, and people like in this room will do that. So thank you, Jamie. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Maggie.
Michael O'Shea is my name. When I was 4 years old, I started school. I didn't stutter. On the first day, I ran away from school because my first school was nuns. I never saw a nun in my life. She frightened the living hell out of me. Second day, I went to school. My mother stayed until 10 o'clock to watch me. And when my mother was talking to the nun, I ran away again, up to my grandmother's house, which was 2 miles away. I was 4. Okay, I was 4 years of age. There was no traffic then. Everybody was safe. On the third day, my mother stayed again until 10 o'clock. And I ran again. And Mother Superior was waiting at the back door. She was, to me, as 4 years old, she was a monster in black clothing with this little white triangle over her forehead. She brought me across to her class through an avenue lined with trees. I was 4. She gave me a severe beating in front of her 5th and 6th class. I didn't stutter. For 3 months, I didn't speak. I didn't speak. And when I spoke, I stuttered severely. And for the next 40 years, I stuttered severely. For speaking to you in October 1999, my name would have been Michael O'Shea. I can bring that back like that. At the age of 4, I developed the mindset and mentality of a stutterer, survival. I also learned great skills of overcompensation. I knew I had to survive in the fluent speaker's world. I knew I had to prove myself. Transferred to another school. At the age of 7, my parents got a new council house. All that I knew about the principal is he shouted. He lost his temper very easily. My teacher was out of school sick. We went into his class for 3 days. First day, he completely ignored me. The second day, he ignored me. The third day, he asked me a question and I couldn't say it. He asked me again, I couldn't say it. Spit it out, he said. 7 years of age. He had a 1 meter long stick, a brass ferrule on each end. Hold out your hand, he said. Shouted again. I held out my hand. He drew it back, instinct. I pulled it in. He pulled it again, held my hand, and hit me right there. The mark is still there to this day. As I speak to you now, I can see him. Small man, about 5'2", dressed in his uniform, summer or winter. The only time it changed in the winter is he didn't use the grey jumper. He used the suit and the shirt only. That instant, I knew I had to be very, very careful around people, adults, who stuttered, because I stuttered. Why? Because if I stuttered, it would end up in physical pain. At the age of 7, you don't know what psychological pain was. At 4, you don't know what trauma is. But I'll tell you this, whether you're 4 or 7, childhood trauma follows you for the rest of your life. The rest of your life, it leaves its mark. Why am I telling you this? The first thing with a child in school who stutters is the feeling of difference. Feeling of difference when the teacher asks them in the morning, reading out the roll call, and you're not answered. You're not asked your name. Teacher looks up, maybe over his or her glasses, marks you in. Never asked. Unsure. Simple answer. Never asked, skipped over. Feeling of difference. That's what drives it. So if we can educate the teachers in that arena, if we can educate the lecturers in that arena, and see how powerful it is to address it there, we can stop the transfer from primary stuttering, lasts from the time the child gets that feeling, up to 8 years of age, where it goes to secondary stuttering, where it transfers into psychological and physical response. We can give people who go into their teens a very good quality of life, because they know there's help and support available, because it starts in the schools by educating the teachers, by educating the lecturers, and educating the parents. Michael O'Shea.
Lord Mayor, Deputy, Senator, Presidents, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to be here today as a member of Cork City Council, and I point my hand over to Jamie, who brought me on board. The day I met him here in the MTU months ago, we just seemed to hit it off, not realising what it would lead to us being here today around this table. Over the last number of months, myself and Jamie got to know each other. 6 o'clock, 6:05, just when you're putting a cup of tea to your mouth. Jamie, we'd have our little chat every night about how we're going, what we're doing, and every day, good news. He'd have good news about a meeting or what we're doing, and I've been on a number of Zoom calls with him as well, with families, and that really brought me out to what's going on around the country. It wasn't Cork, it was up the country, and I was listening to what the parents had to be saying in relation to where they're standing and what they're doing. And listening to them, the way their kids are so small, and just, you listen to what he had to say. I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that. These were children who were going to school, but couldn't get involved in hurling, football, or nothing, because when they go into a dressing room, or they go onto the field, they were lost. They wanted their own little cocoon at home, maybe, speaking to their parents who understood them. But like that again, I got to get on with Jamie, and we met another fool. And only for Jamie, and I take my hat off to him, only for Jamie, we wouldn't be here today. He went over every footpath, over every speed bump to sit around this table today. And this morning was the culmination of all his work. And let's be realistic about it. And to Michael O'Shea, and I can't think, Michael Ryan, the three of them. They pushed this to where we are here, sitting around this table. I, myself, I'm in awe with the whole thing and the combination of all what's happening, of where we are. And this morning, to speak to the ambassador, and she opened her heart to us. It was unbelievable. And she gave us a history of whether it was from Loud or Meath or Wexford or wherever it was. Yeah. We were told one of the staff have a cock jersey. There's a cock jersey in the Oval Office. But like that, it's what we're here today for. To continue this campaign. And I don't mean a campaign politically. This is us normal, forget whether they're councillors, forget whether they're senators, forget whether they're MEPs, forget whether they're TDs. We are working here together with this well-being and health with Jamie and his grouping to get as much support from all aspects across all spheres of life here. Not alone in Ireland, but when you stretch out your hand to the #1 man in the world, Joe Biden, and send him an invitation to come to Cork. No, please God, fingers crossed, legs crossed, whatever we like to say, that he will accept it. And I know that Jamie nearly has the days penciled in when he will be arriving. Jamie, don't say next week or the week after all to stay. This is the date you go for. And I must say, fair play to Jamie and to what he's done from day one, since he started in primary school, to coming up to the MTU, and spreading the word across. I'm delighted, Jamie, my hand on my heart, they say I'm delighted, and thank you for that day that we met you outside there for half an hour, and we spoke to each other, and I'm on board with you the full time. And so, as the Lord Mayor said, Cork City Council, and everyone in Cork City Council, all the executive from and Doherty down, we're fully and utterly support you. And I can say that, and I got a phone call a while ago from Cork County Council as well. They were sorry, but they said, look, we're with you on the whole way, because at one juncture we said it has to be Cork City and County. You can't cut us down the middle, well, the county didn't come or this didn't go. We're under one umbrella. This is Cork, putting the right foot forward to get to Joe Biden to say, when you land in Ireland, you can go for coffee out west, but you're coming south. And we'll be ready here in MTU. We'll have to probably bring him into City Hall as well to give him a civic reception. Because every time, as the Lord Mayor has said, we have given the city #1, and we give him the Freedom of the City Award, and it will be a great honour, as I said. But as long as I'm here, and as long as I'm not saying it, there's Brett here, I'll be standing behind Jamie, and thank you all for your support here today. Thank you.
Lord Mayor and fellow dignitaries, and I won't delay now because it's a Friday evening, we're all probably watching the clock, but just first and foremost, the Chief Superintendent Tom Meyer sends his apologies and just asked me to come and represent in Garishikana. And we're fully conscious about the need for good communications in society, and I think our organisation, I would like to think it's into most areas of the community, and we're delighted to be on board, and thank you for the invitation, Jamie, and it's great to be here, and you can take it, you have the full support of the Gardaí all over the country in what you're trying to achieve. I suppose as I heard you talking about the President of America, I was looking up the definition of stalking, and I can tell you at the moment, you haven't reached the threshold yet, but we'll keep it under review. I suppose it's kind of, I said it to my Chief Superintendent before I came out, I said, do we really want the President to come here? Because I'd say we're the only organisation that it's a massive headache for us. And as I heard the Lord Mayor talking about the cavalcade, if it does happen and it does arise, please keep the cavalcade as short as you can. Because the longer it is, the more people we have to put on it. But no, on a serious note, if the President Biden does decide to come here on Garishikana, I'll be fully on board with it and the policing of it, and we look forward to bringing him out to MTU and back into the city. And thanks again for the invitation, and we're fully on board with you. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Norman Cllr is my name, and I suppose similar to Michael, I would have had an awful stutter from the age of 5 up. Apparently I had the devil's hand, and I was made change from left to the right, and my folks reckon that's where it all started. But it just very briefly, I'll be very brief, and I am conscious, as the Superintendent said, about it being Friday. And it is a great day, and it is a fantastic day, and I thank Jamie for the privilege of being able to speak in front of you all, and also about the COVID restrictions look to be lifted. But like when I was growing up, and I was saying this to Michael, that since Jamie's campaign started, it brought back all of the feelings that I had. Like I would have stuttered uncontrollably until I was in my 40s. So all of the embarrassment and the shame and self-loathing was a huge thing that I would have felt, and I'd go to bed at night saying, okay, let's block all those memories out, let's block them out, and tomorrow will be better. And it was never better, because it could be 9 o'clock, it could be 9:30, and I get stuck again, and then you're mortified again, or whatever. And I suppose I've been lucky in that I found something that worked for me. And Jamie made a very interesting point about parents being involved, and I actually never realised, like my dad passed away in December 2018, and you know, I spent a good bit of time with him before he died, and he said, we were really worried about you. And I can remember coming home after a course, and I was actually able to speak, and he started crying. Now, my father played for Munster against the All Blacks in the Marduk in 1954. The All Blacks didn't make him cry, but I did. And the fact that I could actually speak had that. And it was only then that I realised, and I was delighted that Jamie brought it up, and it's so, the physical side of stuttering is a huge thing. The mental side is equally. So just to thank Jamie for doing all this. He's doing a fantastic job. And thank you for listening to me.
It was wonderful, everybody. Positivity that's come across from everybody, and I suppose the call to action from all of us is that we got to get behind Jamie, and we've got to make sure that Joe Biden comes to Cork. So I know a lot of us here have different networks through education, through politics, through City Council, County Council, through the Gardaí internationally. So let's get together, let's be united and get this over the line. And before that, we got to sign the letter, so I'm conscious that we don't forget about that. So it's like, most people here have signed for a mortgage, so it's kind of like that. There's there's 4 copies, so you're gonna have to sign 4 times. So what we might do is invite people up.